Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We've never had a full-blown cryptocurrency bull run without equity markets also moving substantially to the upside. But not just that. I mean, if you want to see not just a bull run to the extent that we have seen with, yes, Bitcoin hitting the new all-time high a few times several months ago. If you want more than that, if you want to see an alt season, just know that it's never happened without expansion occurring, including in the stock market, including small stocks going. Well, today, we may have just seen our first hint that maybe things really are going to start ripping to the upside. Have you guys seen what happened today? The Russell 2000 ripped to the upside as the NASDAQ 100 tanked today. I do not mind seeing that one bit, frankly. And so crypto down a bit today, and so we'll get into all of that, but this has been a crucial missing piece. And so, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but today was a good day if you believe, as I do, that that's a crucial factor to be watching. And what's happening with XRP at this particular moment? Well, take a look at this headline, because as I've said, there's a lot all coming together at once here. XRP Bollinger Bands tightened to historic levels, mirroring prior 60,000% price spike. And so XRP price has been so beaten down, priced against Bitcoin anyway. It's actually up from the 2022 lows of 28 cents. But if you look at all sorts of other metrics, relative strength index, the analysts in our community have been highlighting all sorts of stuff ad nauseum for months on end. And so the XRP haters will say, see, look, XRP's crap. But no. If you understand historical context, when XRP's metrics look roughly the way they do, as they do at this moment, historically, this is what precedes a massive bull run. So if we're going to see expansion in the stock market, in XRP's position like this, what do you think happens next? And that's why so many analysts have been saying, alt season coming, but you got to see expansion within the market. And so again, maybe we did just get our first whiff of that today. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 8:27 p.m. Central Time. Thursday, July 11th, 2024, XRP at 44 cents, Bitcoin 56,576 bucks. Market mostly in red a bit, nothing completely crazy. I mean, in crypto terms, if these percentages down, if it were, traditional markets, a bit more difficult for those people in TradFi to handle emotionally, right? And so I put out this post this afternoon. Who's this Russell guy everyone keeps talking about today? Because it's been good to see this. And check this out, actually. So this is from Sentiment. The U.S. CPI report came out today with news of a core CPI 3.3% rise versus 3.5% expected, appearing bullish for crypto. However, with many already anticipating a good report and prices being driven up in the days prior, this was a perfect buy the rumor, sell the news event. And so there you go. As far as, and I'm going to show you in just a second, just how down the S&P 500 is, traditional markets, but that's what Sentiment believes has occurred here. So good news, yes, you think number go up, but buy the rumor, sell the news. If it's already expected by the markets, well, there you go. Pull some profit. There's this post from my fellow XRP YouTuber, the Blockchain Backer, and he had probably several posts highlighting, what was going on in traditional markets today, and it certainly caught my attention, and not just my attention. Everybody's paying attention to this, and I'm glad he was highlighting this. But he shared this post in the afternoon before traditional markets closed, 1:02 p.m. Central Time, my time zone, and he said NASDAQ down 2.4%, Russell up 3.6% at that particular point. So a little bit before the market closed, but that's pretty close to where it ended here. So here you can see the S&P 500 down 0.88%. And you've got NASDAQ down 2.24% for the day. But what about the Russell 2000, the small caps? Up 3.57% today. Going against the grain. And the Blockchain Backer has been, and to his credit for sure, discussing this very widely and for a long period of time. I remember at the very beginning of the year, he was even saying then, it looks like, in all probability, Russell 2000 may just be towards the later stages of Wyckoff accumulation. And yes, here we are close to half a year later, which maybe sounds like a long time to you, but not really if you zoom out. I mean, you could look what's happened over the last 5 years on the Russell. I mean, so it has moved up. The last notable move up we had here, obviously, you can see, from 2020 leading into 2021. So you got, you guys already know what happened a few years ago. I don't want to belabor the point and get into what happened last market cycle as much. I just want to make the point. This is something, the expansion, this must occur because we otherwise this time is different. Again, like I said at the outset, we've never had an alt season where there wasn't also this tandem movement where small stocks are also ripping to the upside. And so I understand, of course, you have seen an incredible rally. If you're just looking at the top line numbers, you're just looking at the S&P 500, for example, it's been ripping to the upside. I get that, but it's been led by a very small number of companies. As highlighted here, this has been circulated by pretty much everybody in crypto and also circulated widely in traditional finance. There's this post from originally Eric Balchunas. He got kind of famous in crypto covering the the Bitcoin ETF launch stuff, even for months leading up to that. He's the senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. And so he shared this screen grab, and I highlighted this at least once on my channel. He said, the top 10 biggest stocks in the S&P 500 contributed to 77% of the index's total return in H1, which is the first half of the year. He says that is the second highest ever reading of that number. Only time it has been higher was in, 2007, which sounds alarming, certainly, fair enough. But so check this out. The blockchain backer, before the market opened, he said Russell plus 2.25% in pre-market. That was reposted by Tony Edward of the Thinking Crypto YouTube channel. And he said, as I've been saying, we are in a macro bull market, crypto, stocks, real estate, etc. And so I would say I tend to agree with that. I don't pretend to know for sure what's going to happen. If anybody ever says they know for sure what's going to happen, run from that person because they're not being honest. But I do have a pretty strong conviction that what's most probable at a minimum is, yes, we're going to continue to see things rip to the upside, including altcoins, including specifically XRP, because that's what makes the most sense to me. And I've been highlighting reasons countlessly this entire bull run. But the blockchain backer responded to Tony there and said, you better hope so. You can see the 3 times markets have rivaled this breadth dynamic. And so just noting, okay, yeah, bull run so far, but how come it's from like 2 stocks? What about the rest of the market? Why isn't that running? So if it is running now, well, that is then something. So there's this post from a chart analyst called Mustache. I'm not familiar with him, not that it matters. Just mentioning that. He's got 127,800 followers. I would like to mention that because there are a lot of analysts that I do regularly follow, and so I have higher confidence and trust levels of them just because I know more about them, and that's the only reason that I'm really mentioning that. Other than that, not that it would matter at all. But he has obviously built a very respectable following here, and he's noting exactly this, and he's giving credit to the blockchain backer in a post in this thread for first calling this. And so Mustache says #Bitcoin. And he's got the Bitcoin USD chart on the top and the US Small Cap 2000 Index, so we're talking about the Russell here, on the bottom. And he writes the following. Most of you may not know it, but the Russell 2000 and Bitcoin's price action have always been highly correlated. If Russell rises, so does Bitcoin. Russell is currently trying to break through strong resistance from 2021 to the upside. Probably nothing. And that last line's obviously sarcastic. Probably nothing. Oh, it's definitely something. And so we do need to see an actual break. And he posted this afternoon, 3:15 p.m. Central, as markets are closing. So we do need to see a strong break above that ultimately. But this was a good and interesting sign, isn't it? At a minimum. So again, like I said earlier in the video, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but that's good. Like that you'll love to see it. I would classify that as awesome sauce. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give that 2 thumbs up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Take a look at this. There's this post from October 13th of 2022, almost 2 years ago. This is the S&P 500 going back to the early 1990s. And Credible Crypto wrote the following. 3 months later, and we are here. A retest of all-time high and the most logical place to initiate a reversal. Lose this region on higher time frame and break down on RSI below the 40 level, and I would be concerned. For now, this is just a healthy retest and much needed pullback after a monster rally. So again, this was important because markets move in tandem. Cryptocurrencies are treated as risk-on assets, just like stocks. And most specifically, the NASDAQ 100, which is tech-heavy, trades most closely. That index trades most closely to what's happening in crypto and Bitcoin specifically. And so you can see S&P 500 at this time, he said right there, all-time high retest. That's what he's highlighting right there. People feel, and there were all sorts of calls. Do you guys remember what people were talking about 2 years ago? It's the end of the world. Everything's going to break down. You don't expect much from markets. Well, that was wrong. Obviously, moving to the upside. Now, again, I understand that as of late, we've not seen sufficient breadth, but there's historic precedent for that to follow. So, we do need to continue to see that. But anyway, so that post I just shared with you from 2022, Credible Crypto reposted just a few hours ago, 4:57 p.m. Central this evening. So here's the updated version of that, and you can see that where he was saying, hey, this makes sense for a retest, probably bounces off there, and here's the updated chart, and I can flash back and forth between the two. You can see what has actually happened since then, over the last 2 years. It has been a move to the upside, and he said it made logical sense for it to be tested there. The fact that it was drawing down, it wasn't some sort of sign that there was something fundamentally wrong. And so, again, this evening, Credible Crypto updated that, and he said the following. Remember that time when everyone was bearish on traditional markets while we basically bullishly retested our breakout with no break in higher time frame market structure? That's basically where we are at with Bitcoin at the moment. So I'll pause to note, there have been a lot of calls from a lot of analysts, not really the ones that I follow, but I've seen a lot of it in my feed. All sorts of fly-by-night analysts. Not all of them fly-by-night. Some of them could just genuinely believe that, and maybe they're frequently right, but saying, hey, could be the beginnings of a bear market. Okay, well, Credible Crypto saying that's not remotely what's most probable. Saying the higher time frame, the big picture macro structure hasn't been broken. Why would you think that is what's most probable now? And so then he says, yeah, we have a pullback. No, we aren't closing close to breaking higher time frame bullish market structure and falling into a bear market, LOL. Keep calm and carry on. Watch my newest YouTube video if you need a bit more reassurance. Yeah, and I actually haven't seen that. I plan to check that out. That's, I think it's like an hour and 24 minutes, and there's somebody in the comments that was like, damn, it was something like this, Credible Crypto, making Dune 3. I was just like, okay, that's good. That's the longest damn video. But I plan to check that out. I just haven't yet, since it was a longer one. But it's always best for ones like I always prefer for his videos. Like it is useful since he's doing chart stuff to watch it on a TV. But a lot of time when I have time, it's like I'm in the car, I'm walking my dog, and then I just like if I really want to look, okay, I gotta pull the phone up real quick. Anyway, so then there's also this. This is from chart analyst Ali Martinez. The Bitcoin accumulation trend score indicates a change in investor sentiment, with many now choosing to accumulate Bitcoin following an extended distribution phase since April. Now that's fascinating, isn't it? So we range sideways all this time. There's been distribution, just means selling, and sentiment changed all of a sudden right now. Everything coming together at this particular moment. Okay, I'll take it. And if you care most about your altcoins, I mean, perhaps you care most crucially about XRP, and that's the case for me. XRP, my largest individual cryptocurrency holding. I am fully anticipating that it's going to be the biggest individual source of my crypto profits by the time this bull cycle's done. Hopefully those are not famous last words, but I have high conviction, for better or worse. I genuinely do. I think that XRP is going to rip to the upside, new all-time high, melt faces, the whole 9 yards. And so we have this article and again, this is happening at the same time all the bigger stuff on a macro level is happening. And like I just said, this is why I covered what I covered first before getting to XRP. Because all the other stuff I just highlighted, everything about traditional markets, equities, all that needs to happen. We know that because history tells us it needs to happen, or else XRP and altcoins don't do anything of note. But it looks like we may be seeing the first signs of expansion in the Russell 2000. And I hope that's the case. We'll find out together. But XRP is also at that moment where it's a make or break moment. At the same, so I'll tell you this: if the Russell 2000 is going to rip to the upside, my conviction, as high as it already is, will go that much higher. If my conviction now, I don't know, if it's 98%, then it will go up to 99%. Whatever the number would be. I'm just making it up, man. But just if it happens, yes, I would fully anticipate we're going to be seeing some major moves sooner than later from the likes of XRP and other top coins. So again, XRP. This is the headline again. XRP Bollinger Bands tighten to historic levels, mirroring prior 60,000% price spike. XRP Bollinger Bands recorded one of the tightest monthly squeezes in the asset's history, which previously resulted in a 60,000% price rally. The great Matsby, who they're calling TGM for short in this article, a seasoned technical analyst, called the investing public's attention to this pattern in a recent analysis. Notably, the disclosure comes at a time when sentiments around XRP are generally down amid a persistent market downtrend. Yeah, and I will pause to note that is one more thing worth tracking. When the sentiment is in the gutter, that happens historically before XRP blows to the upside with the rest of the market. XRP has followed the broader market's bearish trajectory, having collapsed 40% from its yearly top of 74 cents. This downturn was triggered by Bitcoin's crash amid sustained selling pressure by the German government and Mt. Gox. Despite a mild recovery this week, the momentum remains bearish. All right, I've already said my piece on the German government and Mt. Gox thing. I don't want to talk about it in this video. I'm not convinced that that's true. Anyway, as bearish forces clash with a renewal of bullish pressure, the XRP market has slipped into a consolidation phase. TGM confirms that this occurrence has resulted in the tightening of the Bollinger Bands on the monthly time frame. For the uninitiated, the Bollinger Bands tighten when the bands narrow, indicating low volatility in the market. And by the way, I'll pause to note this is another thing that Bitcoin maxi trolls will say. Look at this. What are you talking about? It's not even just ranging sideways. Volatility's decreasing. Come on, that sounds... Well, no, that's something that historically happens before it bursts to the upside and melts faces. You idiot sticks. This typically happens during periods of consolidation where price movement is minimal. Sentiment data indicates that XRP's one-day volatility has dropped to 0.00572 following a spike observed on July 5th. This tightening of the Bollinger Bands often precedes a significant movement or breakout. The price explosion occurs as the market shifts from consolidation to a more active phase. Interestingly, the tighter the Bollinger Bands squeeze, the more explosive the market could get. And folks, that is absolutely true. That is accepted by chart analysts. I'm not a chart analyst, but I know that that is absolutely, it's not remotely controversial. When this happens, it does indicate you're going to get a move. So the question is it going to be up or down? Because Bollinger Bands, that particular metric in and of itself doesn't tell you that. So you have to look at that in the context of everything else that is happening. That's why I'm doing this in this order. Look at what's happening. If the market's going to go and XRP, the Bollinger Band metric at its tightest in history, do you think that perhaps is a good thing if we're going to see expansion in traditional markets? I say yes. I'd say that's what's most probable by a lot. According to TGM, XRP's current squeeze is one of the tightest in the crypto assets history. The last time the XRP Bollinger Bands recorded such a tight squeeze on the monthly chart was in February 2017. And at the time, XRP closed in February at 0.00557 cents. Folks, that's half a penny. That's where it was. Bollinger Bands extremely tight. And so we're in that neighborhood right now of the tightness. Again, that did indicate there was about to be a break because that's what that means. Remarkably, following the squeeze, the market saw an explosive rally culminating in the XRP all-time high of $3.31 in January 2018. This marked a 59,325% rally in a year. As the Bollinger Bands repeat this historic squeeze, analysts such as TGM expect another massive upsurge. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I do too. I'm not going to make a price prediction, but directionally something that the typical person would say has been quite explosive and face melty, yeah, along those lines. As long as the market does expand. And I've been saying that for the longest damn time too. Because that's always been the case here. And so that's why, again, going back to this post from chart analyst Mustache, look at the correlation here. And by the way, For those of you looking at the screen, you may notice that it looks like this is a little bit shifted. So it is so the years actually don't perfectly line up in terms of one on top of the other. They cover the same time period, so the data is sufficiently there. But for instance, if you look at when Bitcoin started running in 2012 here, it looks like it's to the right of that for the Russell under it. It's not, though. That is 2012. It's just that it's not lined up. Do you see what I'm talking about here? So this is just shifted to the right. But it does line up. It did line up. And it doesn't mean that it lines up necessarily down to the second, the minute, the day, the week, the month, so on and so forth. But enough time has passed that you zoom out, you can just see it. If you are a human with at least one functional eyeball, even if it's not that good, you can see what I'm talking about. And so we are at this moment hitting resistance, but man, if you can break through, whew, love to see some new all-time highs for the Russell 2000, because if that happens, that means, like, so if you consider the market to already be risk on, this would be more so risk on, willing to take on more risk by expanding out the risk curve into smaller stocks, which are, well, it's what I just said, they're considered more risky. You go to the largest cap stocks, there's less opportunity in terms of investing. They're considered to be safer. And so, yes, you can broadly state accurately that stocks are, risk on, and in times where there's a risk off environment, even large cap stocks fall. So broadly, it's safe to say, like, we're in a risk on environment, but not sufficiently risk on to include smaller cap stocks. So that's the way that I'd expand that thought out a little bit further. But maybe we are, again, like I said at the outset of the video, maybe we really are at the beginning phases of starting to see this. And so it's an exciting time to be in crypto, very exciting time to be an XRP holder specifically. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.